two topics, but the two topics we are covering are very, very similar. They're both on the percent proportion, which we've already done several lessons on now. So the idea is this should be a relatively quick lesson. Thanks to Shane for deciding to sharpen his pencil while we're recording. Our first part, we're going to start with percent change. Percent change describes the, what do you think it is? Change over time by either, what would happen to the change, do you think? What could happen? What's going to happen to the change? What do you think we would see? Increase or decrease. So it can go either way. We can either go up or we can go down. Which means when we're talking about that percent change, when we're putting into our formula, the key is which way is it going? And the other key is it really doesn't matter because you're going to do the math the same either way. When we're looking at our percent proportion, we can plug the values in to this formula. One of the big keys here when we're looking at how we're actually canceling, not stop. There we go. We're just looking at the amount of change. So look at the numbers, figure out which one's bigger. You can put it on top. You're going to subtract the other one. And it doesn't matter which way you're going to go because you're going to make that determination at the end of the problem. So when you're doing the math piece, keep it simple. Bigger number on top, subtract what the difference is. The other big key, though, you have to have the original down here. Be very cognizant of what the original price was. So you have to read the problem. Here's where marking your text comes in again, guys. If you're marking your text, working through that problem slowly, you should be able to very easily figure out what that original price was. The original must go down there. If you put the wrong price in, guess what's going to happen? You get the problem wrong. Okay? So you make sure you're putting the right one in. Change can be represented by the, how do you think we find that change? Since I just told you. No. How do I find the change in price? Subtraction. What's that? What's the math term for that? Peyton?
Decrease?
Well, it could be a decrease, might be an increase. Brandon? No, it's not division. Division is how we'll find it. The difference, guys.
Oh.
Does that make sense? So again, all you're doing, you're finding the difference between the original price and the new price. Whether it went up or down is really kind of irrelevant. I'm just finding what that difference is. So here's your baseline for making sure that we understand how to do this. So let's talk about doing one, and rather than having me lead you through this, I want you guys to work this out as a table. So I want you talking to each other. I've given you a really easy way to break this down to find all your pieces. You need to read the problem, tell me what each of these pieces are. Here's where you're going to show your work right here in the percent proportion of the work, and then you should be able to solve it. This one will just go to the nearest whole percent. So I'll give you guys about 4 minutes to work through this.
Wait, we're not ready.
It's okay. Again, guys, this is your introduction. I just wanted to see how well you can do it by yourself. Now I'm going to walk you through one. That's why I only had to do one of the three. You notice there's three in there, right?
I did 3.
You did 3? That's even better. Right. I want to make sure everybody understands what you're doing up front. So a gallon of milk costs $2.79 in 2000. In 2020, it costs $3.98. So, and this is one I really enjoyed listening to Ryan talk. You got to figure out what your original is, right? So what is my original price? Carson? Good. So that was where I started. A good way to think about original is where did I start? So when I'm looking at the problem, think of where you started. That's your original. Okay? What was my new cost? $3.98. So that's the other one. If you're marking your text, this should be actually really easy to pull out. What was my change? How do I find the change? Subtract it. So I'm just going to take $3.98 and I'm going to subtract the $2.79. Need to borrow, gives me a 9. I've got a 1 and a 1, so my change was $1.19. Now your percent proportion. This is where the formula that we just gave you is going to work every time. My percent is always going to be over 100. In this case, I don't know it because that's what I'm finding. What was my difference? 119. And what was my original? 279. Do I see an easy way to go from 279 to 100? Not really. If I don't, now we're going to go play baseball. Okay? So the two that are together are being multiplied. I take $1.19 times 100, and I'm going to divide by $2.79. Do I see any easy reductions?
Actually, two.
You do?
I mean, actually one, sorry.
You do? What one?
2.79 and 100.
That's not easy.
He said easier. How?
How are you going to reduce it?
Hey
guys, here's the counterpoint. Even if I could, because it's times 100 and I'm using decimal places, unless I see that it's going to get me down to like a 1 or a 2 on my reductions, I'm just going to keep it like this. Because it'll actually make the math easier, because this 100 means that I'm basically getting rid of my decimal places here. Yeah. Okay? But that's not a reduction, that's multiplying. Reduction is top and bottom. So I'm going to take the $1.19 times the 100. That means I'm taking 119 dividing by 279. So you're going to actually have to do that math. So 119 divided by 279. Remember, can I have a decimal in my divisor? No. Can I have a decimal in my dividend? Yeah. Yes. Doesn't matter inside, but outside I need to get rid of it. So if I move a 2 there, I have to move a 2 here, so now my decimal is all the way down at the end. Okay, well, 279 go into 1. No, into 11. No, into 119. No, into 279. Now we're finally getting there. Here's where your number sentence kicks in. So 279 is almost 300. 1190 is almost 1200. So it's going to go probably around 4 times. So that's where I'm going to start my math. 279 times 4 gives, and it's actually it's 279. So 36, 28, 31, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, that was really close. Subtract 1,116. Now to borrow gives me a 4 and a 7, so 74. Bring down the 0. So my first number was a 4. 740, that's probably going to be about twice, actually. 279 times 4, 36, 28, 31. Why am I doing 4 again? It's supposed to be 2. 18 gives me a 1, 14, 15, and 4, 5, so subtract 550. Gives me 0, 9, 1. So that was a good guess. So I'm at 1900. I said round to the nearest whole percent. So my next decimal, is it going to be 5 or bigger? Yes. Meaning to go my nearest whole percent, I know my decimal is bigger than 5. So my 42 is going to be about 43%. So now the next one, was this an increase or a decrease?
Increase.
Increase, the price went up. So now that I have all the pieces, I can put it all together for my solution. The price was a 43% increase. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Which part doesn't? I heard one no. Is that you, Kabika?
No.
Yeah, it was. What part doesn't make sense? That's too much.
The percent proportion and work.
Okay. Do you understand percent means over 100?
Yes.
Do you understand I don't know it? That's what I'm solving for. Do you understand the original price?
Yes.
Do you understand how to find the difference?
No.
I take the original and how much it changed. So I'm going to subtract the price differences. Forgot how much it
Well,
changed.
yeah, I know that. I
You
don't
said
know how
no.
to find the percent.
Once you put the numbers in, I cross multiply. Baseball. The two that are together across from each other, I multiply, I divide by the other one. Okay? Literally, like the last 4 lessons, we've been doing this proportion piece. So we need to make sure we're getting this down. Okay, you have 2 more parts to this table. Go ahead and do both other parts. I'll give you guys about 6 more minutes. Okay, our next one, I like the math on this one's a little bit easier. The pizza cost $3 in 2000. In 2020, it cost $2.50. So what was my original price? Where did it start? $3. Okay. What is my new price? $2.50. The difference is 50 cents. Although I didn't see it in this class, I did last class. Would that be appropriate?
No. Yes.
Yeah. Ask the people.
Well, don't add a person. Don't add the dot.
No, the change
Oh.
is 50. No. Ask the set.
So you said yes originally, Maria.
No. This is what you're supposed to do. Just 5 0 and then
Okay. So Maria did pick up on it after saying that was correct. She said, no, wait. It's correct if I got rid of that dot. If I said 50 cents, that would be okay. But try to keep it in the same format, guys. I would not do that at all. Just keep it as 50 cents. Because that's going to make all of your math, the follow-on math, a lot easier. Do I know my percent? No, it's what I'm solving for. Guys, do you see how I put this every time?
Yes.
Have you ever seen me not do it?
No.
So should you do this?
Yes.
This is a best practice, okay? Now I'm going back to the formula saying what goes on top. The change, which was 50 cents. What goes on the bottom? The original, which was? Guys, I cannot stress this enough. That is probably the most important part, is correctly identifying your original. Finding the change should be really easy. You're going to find 2 numbers, you'll just find the difference. But understanding which one is the original is really critical. Because if you put $2.50 in there, you're going to get a different answer than if you put $3. You have to put the original. The other way to think of it is, where did I start from? Okay, that's also going to help you do the increase or decrease, but you have to correctly identify your original. Now, is it really easy to go from 3 to 100?
Yeah. 33, no.
3 to 100?
No.
No. So, that means I'm going to go ahead and do my cross multiplying, set up your baseball. So I've got 50 cents times 100 divided by $3. Do I have any easy reductions?
No.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The decimals. How many times will 50 cents go into $3?
6.
6. So I can divide both these by 50 cents. That makes that 1. That makes that a 6. Now I'm just taking 100 dividing by 6. Won't go into 1. Goes into 10 once. Subtract 6 gives me a 4. Goes into 40 6 times. 36 gives me a 4. So what do you see? Will that ever change? Nope. So I have a repeating decimal. So was this an increase or a decrease? Decrease. That price went down, right? So my solution is, it was a, and here's where I would be a little generous, because I said round to the nearest percent. Normally I would expect you to say 17.7, but I'll be honest, in this case I would actually accept, because it's a repeating decimal if you did that. So, but make sure you're following directions. Technically I should have done 17% because I said to the nearest whole. And we always include, was it a decrease or an increase when we're talking about it. So it was a 17% decrease. Everybody good on that one?
Yeah.
Okay, we got one more. A jumbo-sized movie popcorn cost $8.20 in 2000. 2020, it's now up to $10.65. What was my original price? $8.20. What was the new price? $10.65. So my difference is going to be 1065 minus 820 gives me a 5 for $2.45. So my percent over 100, I'm finding the percent increase. What was my change? 245. What was my original? 820. Do I see any easy reductions? Will that 820 go easily to 100?
No.
No. So now I'm going to set up my baseball. I'm sorry? No. Okay, so here's one where, again, this is where your number sense is going to be really critical. Could I do reductions on this?
No.
Technically I could. I've got 100 and 820, right? But it's not going to get me to a denominator that's going to make it really easy to do the math.
It's still going to be hard.
So if it's not going to make it a lot easier for me, I'm just going to keep that 100 because that makes it nice because it's going to get rid of my decimal. So I'm just going to do the math straight up on this one. So that becomes $245 divided by $8.20. Meaning I take 245 divide by 820. First thing I need to do is get rid of the decimal in my divisor. So I add the 2 zeros on the inside, move my decimal place. Will 8 go into 820 go into 2?
No.
Into 24?
No.
245?
No.
No, so I'm at 2,450 before I can do anything. So 3 times isn't going to work. That 2 is going to get it bigger. So it's only going to work twice. So 820 times 2 gives me 1640. So minus 1,640 goes 0, 1, 8, 10. So yeah, it was just below. So when I bring my next 0, I know it's going to be a 9 because it was so close. So that was a 2. So now we're going to go with a 9. So 820 times 9. 0, 18, 72, 73. Subtract 73, 80. 0, 2, 720. So add my next 0 because I told you to round to the nearest whole percent. That's going to be an 8 because 9 was just above it. So 29 and 8/10, meaning I can now round that to 30. So it's going to be a 30% increase. Was it an increase or decrease? It went from 820 to 1065. Increase. So when I write out my solution, it was a 30% increase. Guys, are you starting to see how these all fit together? Okay, so now we're going to talk about it in word problem format. So go ahead and turn the page. I will tell you, mark your text. I actually got tricked in the first class when I did this one. So I was doing more work than I had to. I got halfway through the work and I'm like, okay, I think I can do this. So mark your text. Make sure you understand what the question is. I'll give you guys 3 minutes. Okay, on this one, make sure you're marking your text. Dustin bought a DVD player. It was marked down from 150 to 100. A video game console was 250 and the price was dropped 15%. Which device has the greatest percent decrease? So our first one, we need to go ahead and start on the original DVD player. Again, we're going to set it up the same. It's going to be my percent. What was the change in price? 50. What was the original price? 150. Is it easy to go from 150 to 100?
Yes. Yes.
It is, kind of. You're multiplying by 1.5. But looking at the numbers, I'd be like, oh wait, I could probably do this easier cross multiplying because I think there's going to be a lot of reductions on this. So I'm going to say 50 times 100 divided by 150. So here you should see a really easy one, right? The 50 and the 150. I can divide both those by 50, makes that a 1 and a 3. So really all I'm doing is 100 divided by 3. 1 going to 1 goes into 10 3 times, gives me a 9. Uh-oh, what do we see? Repeating decimal, right? So 33.3. So what do I need to do to set up the other one?
For more. You divide 15 by 100 and then you multiply it by 250.
Because 250 was the original price, right? So you can do 15 over 100. And on this side, I know it's 250. But Elena, I heard kind of whisper in the background. I was hoping she'd be a little bit louder. Say it louder for everybody.
You don't really need to solve for the x.
Why not?
Because it already gave you your percent.
Oh, you paid attention to the question? What was the question?
Which device has the greatest resistance?
Do I have to do any of that to figure out?
No.
No. So, can I already answer it?
Yeah.
Yes. The DVD player had a greater decrease in price. And actually it's percent decrease. So I'll put the percent sign in there. That make sense? So again, make sure you understand what your question is, guys. Okay, this one. I'm going to go ahead and walk through this with you because we're running out of time and I do want to at least get to the notes for the next one with you guys. A sweater is marked down from 25 to 19. What is the percent of change? So now I don't know it, so my percent change. What is the change between the two? $6. What was my original? Where did it start at? 25. Is it easy to go from 25 to 100? Yeah. So do I have to cross multiply?
No.
No. Would I get the wrong answer if I cross multiply?
No.
Not unless you make a math error, but you're taking a lot more steps. When this one's a really easy one, right? So it is a 20% decrease, a 24% decrease. Yes?
Is the baseball necessary part for everything?
Yes. Any proportions? Works for any proportions, yes.
So everything like on this really give us on the test, everything. Can we go on to the next week?
If it's a proportion, yes.
Can we have a baseball?
Okay. 7th grade class had a 15% decrease in enrollment. Last year, the 7th grade class had 280 students. How many students are enrolled this year? So this time they gave me the decrease, didn't they?
Yeah.
So that means I actually know my percent. It's 15 over 100. The key is that 280 the original or the change? The original. So where does that go? In the bottom. Is it easy to go from 100 to 280? For most people it would be because it's just times 2.8. But if you don't see it, we can always baseball. So 15 times 280 divided by 100. I can knock that 0 off, divide those both by 10. Then I can say, okay, 15 and 10, I can divide both those by 5. Makes that a 2, makes that a 3. Then 2 and 28, I can actually divide by 2. So it's 14 times 3, which is 12, 42. So my x is 42. The key is on our question, I need the enrollment for this year. But they told me this was a decrease, right? So how would I find how many students are there this year?
Minus 42.
Just take 280, subtract 42. Is there anybody who doesn't understand why we're doing this? Nolan? Because what was the question?
How many students are enrolled in the 7th grade?
Okay, so are there 42 students enrolled?
Yeah.
No. What's that 42 mean then? Percent that drop. That's my percent decrease, right? So if I actually want to find out how many there are, I need to take that number and subtract it from the 280. Make sense? Now, is there an alternative way I could do this? How?
What do you mean by how?
You said there was an alternative way I could do this.
You said across the point?
No.
Oh.
Instead of using 15%. What did 15% tell me?
Oh,
There's 85% of students.
There are 85. So if I had used 85, that would have told me how many students there are. So that gets kind of back to the test question that we just gave you guys. Make sure you're made aware of what it is you're looking at. So there are 238 students enrolled this year.
Mr. Moore, why did you do possible? There's a way easier way to do it.
Because was that hard to do?
Yeah.
No.
There's a quicker way.
What's a quicker way?
Just
You
turn
could, hold up, you could, turn your daily and 10 would go in 28 and 10. So, I don't know how to explain this without showing people.
Because you can't explain it the way you're explaining it without showing it. What you're saying doesn't work unless you cross multiply. Had you said you could have just multiplied by 2 and 8/10, then that's the easier way to do it. But if I'm multiplying not a zero number by 2 and 8/10, that actually isn't easier to me. To me, it's easier to do the cross the division, the reductions, and get to 3 times 14. That was easier. But again, it's whichever way you want. Any of these ways work. You guys can choose which one you want. Okay, our last one. The monthly water bill for Maple Giant is listed in the table below. What is the percent increase in his bill from May to July? So you need to make sure you're picking out the correct numbers. So I need May's number and July's number. I need to find that difference. 136.50, subtracting the 78, gives me 0, 5, 8, 12 is 5.
What
So
did
it's,
you need June as well, though? Because it said 2 July.
no, I'm just comparing May to July.
Then wouldn't it say and July?
No. It's telling me where I'm starting, May, and where I'm ending, to July.
Yeah, but then June is in the second part of it.
Right, so this is the kind of question that's designed to trip you up. Do I need June for this problem?
Yes.
No.
Sorry.
I'm only comparing May and July.
It says May to July, but not May and July.
Right. So what are you going to do with 122?
I don't know, compare it.
What?
Are you good?
That's not nice.
I was just asking.
Yeah, because you're
Guys, stop the chatter. Please ask. It's a serious question.
I don't know.
Okay, the reason I don't worry about June, I'm only comparing May and July. So when I'm talking about the difference in the bill, I'm saying where am I starting, where am I going? The part that's in between really isn't relevant because it's just asking how to compare in these areas. So in this problem, I don't need June. So now I'm trying to find the percent. I don't know it, so that's going to be the X over 100. My change I just found out was $58.50. What was my original? Where did I start? Started in May, so my original is 78. Okay, I don't see any easy reduction, so I'm going to go ahead and set up the baseball. 58.50 times 100 divided by 78. Here's one again. I could do the reduction of 78 and 100, but in the long run, that's just going to make the math harder. Because then I'm going to have to multiply 58.50 times 50 and then multiple things. Because it's times 100, I'm just going to do this. No, and stop leaning. So 58.50 times 100 means it's 5,850 being divided by 78. So now we do that math. 5 by 8, 50 divided by 78. Won't go into 5, won't go into 58. 78 is going to go about 7 times into 5,000. So we'll try that. Might be 8, but I'm thinking 7. So 56, 49, 54. So yep, that was a good guess. Minus 546. Means I need to borrow. Gives me a 9. 7 minus 4 is 3. So 39, I did a good job on that one. 78 into 390, that's going to be around 5 times. So let's try that. 78 times 5 gives me 43. So it's exactly 5 times. So what was my percent change? So, and did it go up or down?
Up.
So it was a 75% increase from May to July. Questions on how to set these up or how to solve them? Okay? Your last one, enrollment at PTA increased 35% this year. Last year, there were 160 members of the PTA. How many PTA members are there this year? So, do we know the percent? Yes. 35 over 100. Do we know the change? No. Do we know what the original was? Yes, it was 160. So I'm trying to figure out what that change was, right? Now we set up our baseball. Go ahead and cross multiply. 35 times 160 divided by 100. I've got an easy reduction there. Then I can do another one, divide these by 5, gives me a 2 and a 7. I've got a 2 and a 16, so I can divide those by 2, gives me 1 and 8. 7 times 8 is 56. So, what does that 56 mean? So there's, the change was 56. So it increased this year. So what am I going to do? I'm going to add it because it increased. So I take the original 160. I now have found it changed by 56. They told me it increased. So that means I'm going to add that. So that means this year there are 216.
What's a PIA?
Parent Teacher Association.
Parent intention.
No, it's PTA.
I know, but I
Guys,
said.
any questions on this? Okay? So, our last one, a pair of socks. Purchased for $2 and then sold to the customer for $4. What is the percent increase? So I don't know the percent. I know what was the change between 4 and 2. 2. What was my original price? 2. So, oh, this is interesting. What's 2 over 2? 1. So what percent was it? So what was the percent increase? So it's 100% markup.
Oh, I don't understand.
But if you think about it, it makes sense. What did they buy it at? $2. What did they sell it for? $4. So they added $2. If it started at 2 and I added another 2, how much of the original price did I add? 100%.
So it's just adding the same thing.
Okay. Last one. Guys, pay attention. I gotta get through this. We've only got 7 minutes left. We earn $2,700 monthly. He's going to receive a 3.5% raise. With the new raise, he believes he will earn more than $2,800 a month. Is Eugene correct in his thinking? Why or why not? Justify your reasoning. So there's almost steps to your answer, but the math itself is actually relatively easy. What's the percent increase? 3.5. What was my original? 2,700. Do I know? And this is what I'm solving for. Okay? Technically, I could have just multiplied by 27, but that's probably what I would do in this case. But baseball's also going to do it for you. Times 2,700 divided by 100. So I can divide these both by 100. So it's just 3.5 times 27. I have one decimal place. Gives me 35, 10, 13, 0, 21, 6, 7, 8, 5, 4, 9 at one decimal place. So 94 and 5/10. That was the increase. So what is he making now? How much is he making now?
94.
No, he started at 2,700. It increased by $94.50. So I need to add those together. 2,700 plus 94.50. Now we're talking dollars, so I'll add the decimal places. 50 cents, 4, 7. Did he make it to $2,800?
No.
No. So he is incorrect. He will now be earning $3.5. Is a pretty good raise. $2,794.50.
Danny, one day.
He will not be at 2,800 yet.
One day you'll be better.
Does this make sense?
Oh, shame.
One day I'm gonna see you.
Guys, please stop the back conversations when I'm recording.
Yes, sir.
I've asked you to all class to stop. Any questions on this? Okay. So you have your homework on this one. Make sure you understand.